Hello everyone, welcome to the Inspired Choices TV with your host, myself, Christine McIver, where we bring together inspiring people that are creating greater in the world. They are inspiring others to create greater, and they are really changing lives. I love to bring together people who want to have more and are willing to do whatever it takes. I have an amazing guest today who's going to be sharing what she's been doing in the world in creating greater all over the world. Before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to my amazing sponsors, Yaz from For You Salon, who does my hair. Thank you, Yaz. Karen Cruz Ventura from Alouette Cosmetic, who does my beautiful makeup, and Denise Bazinet, who does my gorgeous art. So thank you everyone for the sponsorship. I really appreciate your contribution to the show. So today with me, I have Amy McLaren, and Amy is Aiding Beyond Limitations. She is the founder of World Teacher Aid, and she is creating greater in the world. And I love this story, and when I met her, when I first heard her speak, I was like, she is perfect for inspiring stories on Inspired Choices TV. So welcome, Amy, so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're here. This was so we met, was it about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah, it was a very short time ago, but your story was phenomenal and what you've been doing. So I really wanted to share that with everybody. And and we'll share that, the other little piece that's on the table in a minute.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners and our viewers about you. So where did you grow up? Did you grow up here in Canada?
No, I grew up in England, in Oxford, England. Moved when I was 10. So it's just my mom and my dad and my brother that are here in Canada, but all of my other family is in England.
Is still in England.
So I feel very British still. Whenever I go over, it feels very home to me, even though I sound fully Canadian.
You do.
There are a few words that are British, but no, I grew up in England and then moved to Barrie for a little bit, where I went to high school.
Okay.
Then I went to university at Wilfrid Laurier.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and now I'm in Ancaster.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I needed a little water there. So, what did you go to school for in Waterloo?
Sociology and geography.
Sociology and geography. So you then moved on to become a teacher, is that correct?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad at Laurier, and then I did my Master's of Teaching out in Australia. I love to travel.
Wow!
So I spent a year out teaching in Australia and went to Griffith University, where I completed it there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. Loved Australia.
Did you? That's one place I haven't been yet. I definitely want to go
beautiful.
there. So you came back to Canada and started to teach. How long were you teaching before you stepped into your new world?
Yeah, so I taught primary I still am a teacher by trade, but I haven't taught in the last couple of years.
Right.
But I taught primary for about 10, 11 years.
Right.
Grade 1.
Wow.
Grade 1, little ones. I love it because you see so much change in that age.
Right.
I think. Yeah.
Right.
And then started, I taught a lot of English overseas at different language schools around the world in different summers from university and summer camps and things like that. So
you would teach all year long, where a lot of people would take the summer off.
Yeah, so not so much. So if I backtrack a bit from university, when I was in university and before I came into full-time teaching, I would teach a lot of English overseas and direct language schools and that kind of thing. And then that kind of inspired me to kind of create what I started with World Teacher Aid, which is helping others and building schools.
So when did World Teacher Aid start? Like, kind of bring us to the beginning of the story of how that kind of start to pop for you.
Yeah, so I guess, I'm married and I have 2 children. But so my husband and I, he met him at university. He loves to travel as well, probably not as much as I do. So we were watching Oprah's Big Give one night. I don't know if you remember that show.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were watching Oprah's Big Give and both crying. He would hate that I told him. It's
now on video.
It was just an amazing story and what she was doing, and I said to my husband, I really, really, really want to do this, but I don't want to do it here in North America. I want to go further. I want to go to those countries where I volunteered in third world countries and where I know the impact of $1 and do something there. And this was like in November. And
so what year was this?
This was back in 2000, probably 2007.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, yeah, no problem. Like, when do you want to do this big give thing? And
so this is November.
This is like November, yeah.
Okay.
And I said, well, Christmas, like around Christmas, that's great. And he's like, Amy, that's like 4 weeks away. And I'm like, yeah. Like, you're the businessman. You raise the money. I'll figure out all the details because I'm good at organizing stuff. And he's like, okay. And long story short, we did it, and we did an internet fundraiser. We raised close to 17,000
in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was actually just a 3-day teleseminar or webinar. And yeah, we gathered all these people, some connections from my husband and who he worked with. They all shared their expertise of what they thought would happen the next year in the internet marketing world. And people paid to be a part of it, and all the money went to the cause.
Wow.
Yeah, so we took it down to El Salvador, and we helped remodel a school there. And we helped a few hundred girls go to school in an orphanage. And it was on that plane ride home that he kind of looked at me and he's like, okay, like I get now what you want to do. Because prior to that I had, lived in refugee camps and lived with a Thai family for like 6 weeks. And
right.
I just love that culture, but also seeing how far a dollar can go and the impact
right.
that you can have. And he's like, okay, I get it. And that was kind of the start, and then we kind of built it up to what it is today.
What it is today. So what I really love, okay, so this is what just jumped out at me when you were talking, was first thing is, how did you get to this school in El Salvador? Like, how did you find the connections to that?
Yeah, so I, like I said, love traveling. A bit addicted to it. I'm always like 3 trips ahead of planning stuff. So I volunteered at several organizations, so I kind of went back to the roots of who I'd volunteered with.
Right.
And I called up this one organization. It was I can't remember the name of it. It's a New Zealand-based organization. They place volunteers all over the world. And I said, I want to raise money in El Salvador. Do you have a contact that I can work with? And they gave me the contact, and that's kind of how it started. So I kind of went back to those people that were already doing it and asked if I could get their help. This is what I want to do. And
so there's organizations out there that will help you to give.
Oh, definitely.
They'll just put you in touch with people.
They'll put me in touch, and they have been in the industry for years. So, it's kind of a great way of stepping forward 500 steps instead of trying to figure it out myself. You just go to somebody that.
Well, this is something that I've always wondered. So thank you for sharing that. So you get down there and you have this money. So you get into the school. Mm-hmm. And how were the children in receiving you when you first came?
They were good. So this was in El Salvador. So I don't know how to speak Spanish. I wish I did one of the language, but I don't. So we were in the school. They were wonderful. It was very small. It was only really one classroom. Really welcoming. We lived with a local family when we were there. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to stay in a hotel or anything. I thought it was really important to kind of establish those relationships.
Right.
And we lived with the family. They were great. I mean, like, as it a small school, we bought them a photocopier, paint, and curtains.
So did you bring this on the plane with you?
No. We had the money, but in a bank account. So we never carried around thousands of dollars of cash or anything.
Right.
Like, it was in a bank account, so we just go to the ATM and we would purchase everything, or someone from the town would take us to a place where we could buy it. So we never gave direct cash to anybody. We kind of went out with us and bought the different things.
Right. And did you make that a really conscious choice to not be giving cash, to really?
I think at the start, because I mean, that's a lot of money, right? I mean, it's a ton of money for anybody, and especially for a community that was, at the level that we were helping.
Right.
And I never travel with a lot of cash on me, period.
Right.
So, it just felt like we had more control, and we didn't really know, to be honest, exactly what we were going to do. Like, I knew that we were going to help rebuild the school, but I didn't know we were going to help build a photocopier or not build a photocopier, but buy a photocopier. So
you needed to get there and to really see what their needs were.
Exactly, because they kind of told us some idea, but you never really know until you can fully get there. And
right.
See. Yeah.
So it was through that action and everything you had done prior to that moment, mm-hmm. in all of your travels and meeting all of these different people, that you had this target. Did you know that was what it was going to be, or it just kind of evolved after you started watching the TV show?
No, I knew I wanted to give. I've been very fortunate because my parents have always, I guess, installed that in me. I mean, we're always volunteering at soup kitchens for Christmas and volunteering at all the age homes, and my mom was very good at that, at always doing stuff for others. So right. I knew I wanted to do something. So I was just kind of exploring, and then I loved education. I love kids. So that's kind of,
what took you there.
What took me there, and then led me to where it is today.
So you have 2 children of your own?
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old daughter and an adopted little guy from South Africa who's 2.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So have you ever taken them with you on your journeys to El Salvador?
Yeah, not to El Salvador. We have taken Marlo when we adopted our little guy to South Africa. I spent 2 months. But South Africa is also very different than Kenya in parts where we help. So Marlo will actually be coming with us this year. It'll be her first year with us on our donor trip that we do every year. So
okay. So you go once a year?
Yeah, we go. I typically go a few times a year, whether it's by myself or with my husband. And then we also go once a year as a group trip. So we take about 20 to 25 people over every year who have donated a classroom or have helped the cause. And
so what is it to donate a classroom?
It's $12,500. So they'll come over and they get to name their classroom and also help finish the school, so they get to help build it. And then we show them, I mean, what Kenya is. It's also the people, and it's also the safari and the animals and all of that. So they
have a
safari,
big experience.
They have a great experience on a lot of different levels.
Right.
It's like all over the map.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have these bracelets here.
Mm-hmm.
They say be bold.
Yes.
They're beautiful. They're my favorite color. Purple is my favorite color. Be bold.
It matches your outfit.
It does match my outfit. So talk to us. Tell us about these beautiful bracelets. And they feel amazing. The workmanship is phenomenal.
Yeah, so these bracelets came about, there's a neat story behind it. Stu and I, on one of our trips, were in Ghana and in Africa, and we had just come back from a crazy time up north helping a school. This was in the early stages, and I was still exploring and kind of getting clear on what we wanted to do. So we were out helping at a school, and we were coming back, and we just kind of wanted to get on the plane to go home, because we'd actually been in quite a bad accident before we...
like a car accident?
A car accident, yeah, and it was awful. And anyway, so we got across and got back, got our luggage, and we were heading out to the airport, and we just kind of wanted to get to the airport, but we needed to get something to eat. And we were wandering around, and you know how when you go to places, people always want to sell you things, like, oh, here come bracelets and all these little trinkets. But there was this one little boy that kept coming up to my husband and I and was like, hey, come over here, I have a good deal for you. I have a bracelet. And my husband is an entrepreneur, and he cannot give up a good deal. And I'm like, we just said, no, thank you. But this boy was so persistent.
And how old was this boy?
Oh, he was like 12 or something. And Stu was like, no, I like a good deal. He's like, what's your deal? And he's like, I will make you 3 bracelets for the price of 2. And so my husband's like, well, that's great. He's like, but we're leaving. And I said, yeah, like we're really just coming to grab a pizza, and we were like leaving. He's like, no problem. You go eat, they'll be ready. So we're like, okay. So he follows us to the restaurant, and we sit and we can see him. And he sits down and we're eating, and he starts making these bracelets, because all these bracelets are handmade by this little boy. And he's making them, and Stu and I are chatting, and I was like, it's crazy that he's just doing these like right here in front of us. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to go talk to him. So he went out and he starts chatting to him, and he says, what's your name? And the little boy says, King William. And I was like, King, really? Like King William? He's like, yeah. And then they start chatting. He's like, well, do you go to school? And he's like, yeah, I love school. And then all of a sudden he pulls out his report card, and he had his original report card in his backpack. Now, I couldn't even imagine kids carrying around like their report card. But he did. He pulls out his report card and shows my husband. And my husband was like, wow, that's great. And he's like, well, do you go to school now? And then he kind of looked at my husband, and I could see it through the window, and he kind of stopped, and his head went down, and he didn't say anything. And she was like, well, why don't you go to school? And he's like, well, I've had my chance to go to school now. My brother, now it's my brother and sister's turn to go to school. And my dad, he's been in an accident, so he can't work, and I'm kind of out here selling bracelets, kind of helping the family.
So he's the breadwinner.
So he is the breadwinner of this family. And
wow.
And Stu was like, he's like, how much is it to go to school? And he's like, it's $20 for a term. And so Stu was like, $20.
$20.
Yeah. And so Stu came back in, and then we discussed what we had just spoken about, and he's like, I really want to help him. And I said, sure, whatever. So we finished dinner, and we go out, we get our incredible bracelets, all hand woven. I mean, the ends are burned by a candle to stop the fraying. And he says, I said, we don't really want to help you go to school. And we gave him $20, and we said, this is $20. It's not for alcohol. Not for drugs. No, this is not for food, not for anything else, but for you to go to school. And if you continue to get 80% average, and you go to school, we'll continue to help support you. So anyway, we gave him the money. He gave us the awesome bracelets. And at the time, we had my husband's business put on them. And we left. And, you never know what's really going to happen and whatever. So 2 or 3 months later, Stu called me at work, and I was teaching at the time. And he says, "Amy, I've got a big package. You should see this package. And it's brown, and it's from Ghana." And I think I have no patience. I do have patience, but sometimes I just don't have no patience.
You love surprises.
Yeah, I can't wait. And so I'm like, "Well, open the package." He's like, "I can wait." So you get home, like, no. So he opens the package, and it was King William, a color picture of him with his backpack on, his report card, and some more bracelets. And inside there were like different bracelets and even a tie that said Mr. Stu, because he called my husband Mr. Stu, and all kinds of different trinkets that he had done. And we were like, wow, that's incredible. And then so we sent more money for him to go to school. Anyway, so fast forward now, 6 or 7 years later.
Yes.
He's still very much a part of our lives, and he's not a boy anymore. He just finished in business school, and he's made I think it's over 10,000 bracelets for us. For
himself.
Well, now he has a team.
Now he's an entrepreneur.
Yes, now he has a team, and he's actually got his brother helping him, his family help him, but he also has a few others that help him as well. And so we get these made for different events. So the event that I met you at was the Be Bold.
Yes.
But we have them for various different fundraisers that we have, and they can all be totally redone to how you want them. But yeah, so it's crazy. I didn't think walking around in Ghana.
Wow.
But yeah, so they're very special to us, and I love it because it's it's got a story, and it's a piece of heart of Africa and what it is. So yeah.
So you're changing your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing your family's life. You're changing other people's lives by sharing what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And you've changed this man's life.
Yeah, but you know what? He was not a hustler, but like entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? And I think my husband saw that in him. And he had that kind of fire to.
Yeah. But I love that. I mean, I've been in other countries as well where, you're inundated when you're walking. You're inundated with these people. But if you're willing to be open to something else, right? Yeah. And obviously Stu was willing to be open to listening, right?
Definitely.
And as opposed to just putting this young man into a category.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And now you've changed his life, and I'm sure you've impacted his family's life.
Yeah, and he's changed many lives. We have so many people ask about him. We're trying to bring him over to some of our events, but there's visa complications and all kinds of things.
What would it take? What would it take?
I know. So we're trying.
That's fantastic. This is just phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
It doesn't matter to me. This is fantastic that you've gone to another country and you're touching other people's lives in other countries. But we can be doing that here as well. We can begin slowly, right? We don't have to go globally to start really changing and teaching other people what is possible.
Oh, definitely.
Are you still teaching today?
No, I haven't. It's funny because I had a staff party at my house on the weekend, but people ask me, and no, not now. I've taken a leave.
Right.
Life is busy with my kids, and the charity's taking on a mind of its own.
Right.
Having opportunities like this, I couldn't get if I was still teaching. So,
sure.
It's up there. I'm taking a leave. I think my good friends know I probably won't go back.
Right.
But yeah, I'm on a leave right now. But
you're teaching in a different way. Mm-hmm. You're just teaching in a different way. So what's your target, for the next 6 months? Where do you see World Teacher Aid going?
So we have, we both now our primary focus is in Kenya. So we're in Kenya all the time, primarily because our contacts are I'm very comfortable with our contacts and sending the money over.
Okay.
So for the next 6 months, we have a big strategic planning meeting with our board where we're planning out the next few years. But our target is 3 schools a year. It's kind of crazy. We'll hit 10 schools next year. And so each school has over 600 kids that attend. And it's actually my husband and I 10-year anniversary next year. So we're going to have a little celebration, and it'll be our 10th school. But definitely our goal is 3 schools a year.
3 schools a year.
And then growing different fundraising programs that we have.
So do you do all the fundraising here in Canada? Do you do the fundraising anywhere else?
No, it's mostly in the States. fundraise, and in Canada too. We mostly go to different events, and usually my husband and I or myself will speak on stage about the cause.
Right.
And we raise money that way. We also raise money online through online webinars.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, do you see this evolving into different ways besides, in addition to the schools that you're doing?
Well, we have kind of, like, we build the primary, and then our goal is to build a high school. So, and then they all have to be in a certain radius of a university and a college. So it gives those kids an opportunity, to go to the primary, the high school, and have a chance to go to higher education if they wanted to.
Right.
Our second phase that's actually coming out right now in our very, very first school is building that sustainable feeding program for the kids. So we're kind of looking at that right now. Our first school has kind of taken that over, and they're starting to do it. But it's taken a couple of years to kind of get the land sorted out and figure it out how we can truly make it sustainable, where, our money's not donating to give them food, they're growing it themselves.
Okay.
And the school is involved in the growth in the community.
That's interesting. You just said Kenya a little while ago, and I thought of my uncle. I had an uncle who was a Scarborough Foreign Mission priest.
Oh.
I don't know if you know of that. So Scarborough is near Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was a priest, and he would go to foreign lands and to bring the good word, as he would say.
Yeah.
And he actually was in Zululand in Africa, was his last spot.
Yeah.
And he taught them. He was a farmer. He grew up as a farmer, and he taught them how to farm. And he taught them how to start their own credit union. So he actually started 8 credit unions in that area, as well as teaching them all of the time, the other. And he actually is buried there. He died there. He's buried there. So one of my targets is to go there and to see what he created. And now with what you're talking about, I mean, this is just a whole other area. It's like, I want to see this. I want to be, see what else is possible that we can be contributing in ways. It's just amazing to me that you saw a TV show and now where you are in what you're creating. It's phenomenal.
And you know what, there's something about the people, and people say this that have gone, that people that we help, and not just help, but have formed relationships with, they have such a great spirit, and they're so welcoming, and they're so friendly, and they're so happy. They're so, so happy. And like these kids that have, my kids, and you're like, they're so blessed. They have so much stuff. Right. And yet these kids have nothing, and yet they are so, so happy. When I was back in February, I was just by myself, and I was with our ground rep, and we came in, it was a Saturday, and it was our first school. And the headmaster had arranged for all the kids to be there, and there were like 500 kids on a Saturday morning in their uniforms, greeting, like, just me, like, coming through just to say hello and checking on a few things and talking with them.
Wow.
But yeah, and even the principal of that school, he didn't get paid any extra to do this, but our grade A class, not everyone made the test to go into high school because they have to score a certain percentage. Right. So he went out into Nairobi and found 5 or 6 schools that these kids could go to, and got them accepted, and spoke to the principals in different things like trades, like hair and plumbing or whatever. Right. But went out on his own initiative to find a spot for those kids because he didn't want them to just not pursue anything further. Like there's just so much. They're so amazing. I think that there's more of this going on in the world than we really realize. Yeah. That and people have these ideas in their minds and on their hearts. Mm-hmm. And what I really love about what you've shared, both the first time I heard you and today, is how we can begin to do it in 1 or 2 simple steps. Oh, definitely. And we don't have to do it alone. No, you find someone that's doing it and ask their help or guidance. Right. There's always people that want to do the same thing. So are you looking for volunteers at all in this area in Canada to do anything to support your business, to support the organization? Not this time of year, but this time of year next year or later on, at the end of the year, we have a program called Right to Give that involves children coming together to write books, and then we publish them, and then the money goes to the charity. So we're just coming off that campaign now, but we're going to go big next year, and we've got some exciting plans that I can't wait to roll out. But we're going to be publishing. We've already published thousands of books come through, but I'll need help packaging them. Wonderful. So we're looking how we can scale that program to maximize it for the charity. And And so there's definitely volunteer opportunities for that down the road. Yeah.
Awesome. So they can, if they wanted to volunteer, they go to your website?
Yeah, if you go to worldteacheraid.org or amy@worldteacheraid.org, I can share more information about that opportunity. For sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really glad that I met you.
No,
I don't think this is going to be the last time we talk.
No, I would love to find it.
So before we wrap up today, I have 5 questions for you.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you. So, Amy, what is your favorite inspirational quote, and how has it influenced you in your life?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Mumford fan, and I was at a Mumford concert last night. Great concert. It was really fun. Good mommy and daddy night out. But I love what he says in his song. I think it's where you invest your love, you invest your life. And, life goes so quickly, and life is busy, kids, whatever it may be. And if you don't take time to invest it in where you want to, and whether your heart says or whether, you choose to, it's not too late, but time passes and life, you wait too long. So I think you got to really make sure your priorities are in check, or what you want to do. Not what other people think you should do, or what you think you should do. It's what you want to do, and where you invest your time and that's what life's about.
I love that. That's awesome. So what inspires you to get out of the bed in the morning?
Well, not my kids waking me up in the morning.
Jumping all over you.
And shouting mommy from the ground. No, it's just, life's exciting. You have so many opportunities to change, not change the world, but be a role model for my kids. I really want them to see, what my husband and I have created, and every day I get to work on a little piece of that. It's towards something else that I'm working for. So
that's fabulous.
Yeah,
I love that. So what has been the most surprising thing that you've chosen in your life? Any area of your life?
Speaking, oh my gosh, I get so nervous. Even doing this, I was in the car, like, okay. But I'm not.
You would never know it, would you guys?
I'm not 100% comfortable at it, and even my dad and my mom have said, I never thought not that I thought would accomplish maybe what I have, but that I would speak on stage. Because in high school I was shy, and I was never out in front there on stage at school plays. I was always that behind the scenes, or the little line where I said okay and ran off, so being on a stage at our last event, there was close to 2,000 people on it, and that's crazy to me, and I it makes me all nervous, and I get all worried about it, but then as soon as you're done, it feels good.
Yeah. And
it's a personal thing now, where I'm okay, I just have to keep getting outside of that comfort zone, and
just pushing that comfort zone.
And pushing it a little more, awesome. Because, it makes a difference. I met you.
Yeah.
Because I got on a stage.
That's right.
So the more I can kind of spread the word about the stuff, and then it makes things, opportunities come up.
Yeah, I know when I first started radio, my very first radio show, I was so nervous. I cried for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And now 5 years later, I've been doing radio, and the same with doing the TV the first time. You're nervous, but if you step outside of that comfort zone, what really is on your heart can come out.
Yeah.
And it made such a huge difference in my life, and you're obviously doing the same thing. So that's fantastic.
It's all in your head, right? They say it's that right mindset of just getting past that.
Just move. So, what is your greatest secret to creating the life you have?
You know what? I don't know if it's necessarily a secret. It could be, maybe it's a secret and maybe a bit of an uncomfortable thing, but we, here, 3 years ago, we hired some help around the house and for cooking. My husband and I hate cooking. And we just kind of made that decision where, anybody can do it and help, whether it's laundry or cooking or whatever, but we decided to kind of outsource some of the cooking and the cleaning, and it was so stressful before then. The amount of laundry that would pile up, and I'd wash things 3 times, and they, you throw it in the laundry, you walk away, and then it stinks through again, and it's never ending, and it was, it took away so much family time and stuff. So, we decided to, outsource it and get someone to help us with that, and it's allowed more quality family time. Don't have to worry about that stuff. I'm eating way healthier than I did 3 years ago. I ate so incredibly unhealthy. And now for our kids, I know they're eating healthy. There's always smoothies in the fridge. There's always fruit. There's veggies. It's great. And I don't know. So it's led to a healthier, happier family life.
That's
And allowing me to be healthy to get out there.
And you've given somebody else a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they love cooking.
And who shouldn't cook but the people that love cooking?
I know. So I don't know. But my mom laughs because I used to babysit, and then I would pay my brother to come over and cook the dinner, and for the kids, and then I would have to worry about it. I don't like. I mean, we still do at home. We have family meals and stuff, but it's just extra prep in the fridge. And for peace of mind, I know that there's always going to be stuff in there. Right. And I can focus on my daughter. I can focus on my kids. And,
I love that. Choose what works for you.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. I mean, I would just encourage people to, look at your life. And there are parts where I'm sure that you could give to somebody else to do, or, it doesn't have to be cooking. Laundry could be whatever it may be. There's little parts that, it takes the stress off and
it does.
Allows you to live a happier life.
That's fantastic. I love that. So what name, other than your own, would you like to be called by?
I thought about this. Not thought of it. My mom was going to call me Kate. It was Kate or Amy. And I like Kate. But when she called me Amy, I was the only Amy in our village where I grew up outside of England, outside Oxford. And she really liked Amy. And then by the time I left that village, there was 4 Amy's in the village. And no Kates. But I've always liked the name Kate. I don't know.
That's awesome.
But,
I love that.
I don't know. I was watching one of your shows, and one of the girls said Luna, or she wanted to be called it.
Yes.
And actually, my little girl's BFF, as she likes to say, her name is Nova, and her daughter's name is Luna. So I was like, that's weird, because it's a different name.
It's a very different name. So it's not something you would actually hear.
Yeah, I hear it from my daughter because she talks about her. But,
Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh,
thank you for what you're doing and creating, and who you're inspiring out there, and all the viewers today that you've inspired. And we're definitely going to have the contact information so they can get in touch with you, and anyone who's interested in volunteering. And if you're looking for these bracelets, we've got lots of bracelets that be bold. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So what an amazing story we heard from Amy today, and what she's creating in the world, inspiring others to reach for what works for them. And when you actually look to what you can contribute in the world, it can contribute back to you. Please check in next week, where we'll have another inspiring guest who's going to be sharing what they're doing and creating in the world. Possibilities are endless. Thank you so much for being with us today. Bye for now.